Okay, welcome everyone. A very good evening to all of you, all the students and all the parents who are with us today. A very warm welcome to you. Before we proceed, so I would like to request our panelists to introduce themselves. We have an elite panel with us today. We have got counselors who have been handling students for quite some time now. They have helped students place in various universities. Let's start with Anamika. Why don't you go first, and then Sharmistha, and then Manish, and followed by Rajan. So I would request Anamika to introduce yourself to our group today.
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me and I hope you guys are keeping safe. So my name is Anamika Malhotra and I take care of the graduate students like you all. And I got my undergraduate degree from UNITS in International Relations Psychology. And since I have been doing this myself, I want now to be able to help students who also want to go abroad to similar universities and get their degree from abroad.
So, Anamika, you might want to repeat the initial portion. We missed it. Your voice was cracking.
Okay, so the initial part was that I hope you guys are keeping safe and I hope you all are well, and that I got my graduate from the University of in international relations and this process firsthand. I will be able to share my experience and make sure that I guide students.
So, we will probably come back to Anamika again. Anamika, we could not hear you, so we'll probably come back to you again. So, Shamika, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well, keeping safe at home. So I'm Sharmistha. I've been working with Jamboree for the past 2 years. I've worked with close to 300 students now, 300 undergrad students. A few of my students got placed in Princeton University, Georgia Tech, and Cornell University. So I hope to service other students also for these top universities.
Okay. Thanks, Anamika. So, Manish, Manish, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Manish. I hope you're doing fine and utilizing the lockdown in a positive way. I've been working with Jamboree for the past 14 years. I've been almost handled almost 2,000 plus students. A few of my students are in like UPenn digital media design, wherein they have barely an intake of 12 to 14 students. That's their class size. Plus, I have my students in Cornell, Howard, Dartmouth College, UC Berkeley, LA, Michigan, and Harvard, and I'm sure I can help you achieve your dream.
So Manish is actually a senior most counselor. He has been with us for the last 14 years and he has counseled actually more than 2,000 students, and I doubt there is any top university in the world where Manish's students have not studied from, right? So he is going to be on our panel today. Rajan, why don't you introduce yourself? And after that, Anamika, you come in again, and this time switch off your video. That might help your audio quality.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all safe at your homes, and thank you for being a part of this session today. My name is Rajan Bhatia. I currently head the admission counseling business at Jamboree. With 16 plus years of work experience in this study abroad domain, I have helped thousands of students to reach their study abroad dreams with being educated myself in the United Kingdom. I'm well versed with the education criteria of various countries like US, UK, Canada. So we can benefit from the multi-country knowledge that I have, and I look forward to an informative session with you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajan. Anamika, you want to come in again with your audio off this time?
Sure.
Sorry, video.
Can everyone hear me now?
Yes, better.
Okay, great. So I hope you guys are all keeping safe and that you guys are having a productive time. I'm Anamika, and I also take care of the undergraduate admissions for students who want to pursue their bachelor's abroad. I myself got my undergraduate degree from the University of California, Davis, in international relations and psychology. And I want to use my experience and help many, many other students so that they can also have a pleasant experience in their application and their time abroad.
Okay, thanks, Anamika. So, Anamika, by the way, there continues to be a little internet issue at your end, so you might want to log out and log in again, right? Okay, no hurry, but maybe towards the end of the session you might want to do that. Okay, so lastly, my name is Orzama. So I have been with Jamboree for 13 years. So I joined 1 year after Manish did. And before that, I was also in the study abroad industry. I have myself studied in the US, and I'm an engineer by qualification, but study abroad, counseling, teaching, these are some of my passions. In addition to counseling students, I also head the verbal academic division of Jamboree, and I wear multiple hats. I love working in this industry. I have probably counseled probably not as many students as Manish, because he's really like a machine, But I have also counseled close to 1,000 students in all these years, and I would love to share my experience with you guys today. All right, so moving on. So as you will see on the slide that it says getting into your dream college. So this dream is will be different for different people. So your dream need not be the same dream as your classmates. So the dream would vary from student to student. So some hygiene points before we get into the session. While we are speaking, please do not type in questions in the chat window. We will not be able to address your queries. So we would like to first go through the information that we want to communicate, and then we would have a really open Q&A session. Till that time, please hold on to your questions. We would first like to get done with the information that we are planning to dissipate today. All right. Can you hear me? Is it better? Can you hear me? Is it better? Is my okay? All right. So if you guys face any internet issue, etc., please log out and log in again. My internet seems to be fine, so there should not be much issues from my end. So as I was saying, I will just repeat once that during the session, while we are speaking, please don't type in your questions in the chat window. We will not be able to address them. Hold on to your questions till the Q&A part. That's when we will be addressing your queries. And in the meantime, Rajan, if there are queries in the chat window about voice echoing or screen not visible, etc., I would request you to type in the answers to those, please, privately.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Rajan. I noticed that a lot of you are not Jamboree students. So very quickly, so we have been in this industry since 1993. We have 39 physical centers in 22 cities and 4 countries. In addition to providing admissions counseling, we do a lot of training, SAT, ACT, TOEFL, IELTS. We do a lot of these trainings. And these trainings are conducted in the physical classroom and also online. So we have a massive online presence. We were actually one of the first companies to seamlessly transition into online teaching when this whole COVID-19 thing hit. Yes, we have been teaching students for SAT, ACT, and we boast some of the highest scores in the industry. So in case you want a detailed demo class, in case you want to see how we teach SAT, we would be happy to give you a free demo class. If you want to register for that, please type in your phone number on the chat to the panelists. If you type in your phone number to us, then we will get someone from our team to arrange the demo session for you. In case you are already with us, studying for SAT, then of course you already have a preview to what we do. A little bit about today's agenda. I will talk a little bit about the undergrad admissions criteria. It's very, very different from the Indian colleges, and a little bit about SAT, the structure, etc., but not too much into detail. Then I would spend a lot of time talking about the importance of profile. Right? So what's the meaning of profile? This is something that Indian students they have little difficulty getting used to. Primarily because in India, if you want to get admission in an IIT or a medical college, you just have to crack that one exam, that's all. The rest of the profile is not taken into consideration. But when you are thinking of applying to universities abroad, or even some of the Indian colleges like Ashoka, so they also work a lot on lines similar to international universities. So international universities or international style Indian universities, both these category of universities, they give a lot of importance to profile. I'll talk a little bit about that, and then I will talk specifically about how to enhance your profile, how to make your profile strong enough to beat the competition. Ultimately, getting admission, getting admission means beating competition. That's it. It's not about whether well placed you are in terms of your competition. So enhancing your profile is very important. And towards the end of the session, we would we do kind of like a lucky draw among our attendees, and we'll pick two of you with whom we will do we'll give you live profile enhancement tips. All right. So for that, if you want us to do a live profile enhancement for you during the session itself, please drop in your phone numbers to us or the panelists, so that we'll have enough time to do the lucky draw, right? So if you're interested in having that done today live, right? Okay. So the admissions criteria. Let's start with this. Of course, one of the primary criteria is standardized test, SAT, ACT. You can take either one of you don't have to take both one of these exams. A language test. If you are from a country where the native language is not English, that means if you are from India, if you are from China, if you are from any country where the native language is not English, then you have to take one of these language tests also. Your academic record is also very important. Academic record does not mean 10th and 12th marks only. In India, there is a very huge importance given to the class 10th exams and the class 12th exams. But when you apply to universities abroad, so the focus is equal on the class 9th marks, 10th marks, 11th marks, and if you are in class 12 while you apply, then your 12th midterms or 12th predicted grades, right? So that's what. So it's not just one big exam that they are going to look at, or two big exams that they're going to look at. It's the last 4 years, how you have performed. That's what's important to the universities. Extracurricular activities are also extremely important. So we'll talk a little bit more about extracurricular activities and what they mean, right? So when I'm talking about universities abroad, I'm not just talking about the US, by the way. I'm talking about, as I said, Indian universities also who work on similar lines, right? So, and it can be universities in UK, it can be universities. So it's not just US universities. The SAT, of course, is required, in the US universities and in some of the Indian universities which work on similar lines like the international universities, right? Okay, so while some of you may have joined late, so in case you want a live profile analysis and profile enhancement tips to be given to you, so if you want that, then please drop in your number. We'll do a lucky draw, and two of you will be doing a live profile analysis for two of the attendees today. All right. Essays and letters of recommendation. So these two things are part of the online application that you will be submitting to universities. Right, so those are also, just for your information, those of you who are planning to start your bachelor's degree in 2021, the session starting in August, September of next year. So the online application, you can start working on it right now also. The essay questions, etc., for the online, the major online application platform is going to remain. They are going to remain the same. Okay. In some of the top universities like MIT, University of Pennsylvania, or Cornell, some of the very top universities of the world, even Ashoka University in India. So some of the top universities in the world, they will also have an interview round. So it's not that just the application form. So from the application data, so they are going to shortlist some people for interviews, and then there will be an interview. Okay, so these are the admissions criteria. So as you can see, the focus on academics or grades is not, it's just, yes, it's there, but it's not the only thing, right? There are a lot of other things also that universities look at, right? And that's what we mean by profile. Your profile is all of this: your SAT score, your grades, your school grades, the extracurricular activities portfolio, the application essays, letters of recommendation that you are going to write as a part of the application. So all of that actually is your profile. Profile does not mean only academics, by the way, right? So students, they tend to think, especially Indian students, they tend to think that the SAT score plus the academic grades, that's good enough, but that's not the case. All right. SAT exam structure, those of you who have not started your exam prep. How many of you have not started your SAT prep? If you have not started your SAT preparation, please type in no in the chat window. If you have already started your SAT prep, then please type in yes in the chat window. Okay, it's good to see that some of you have started your SAT prep, all right? Can you guys please respond to the questions? So as I said, that's how we can keep this session as interactive as possible. Alright, so those of you who have not started your SAT prep, the good news is that it's more like an aptitude test. They're not going to ask you physics, chemistry, or like types of question, or biology or economics type of question. It's more like an aptitude test. So it has a verbal section. The verbal section is further divided into two sections. Reading comprehension, so there are passages and questions associated with them, and writing and language, so that's like the grammar section. So a verbal section, which is scored on a scale of 200 to 800. Then there's a math segment, which is also further divided into two sections. One is like you are not allowed to use the calculator, so they are kind of simpler questions. Then the second section, slightly more difficult questions, where you are allowed to use the calculator. So the math section is subdivided into two sections. Again, it is scored on a scale of 200 to 800. So the maximum score you can get on the SAT is 1600, 800 plus 800, 1600. And the bare minimum score that you will get, even if you do not attempt a single question, you will end with 400. The exam scoring starts from 400. So 400 to 1600 is the range, right? So essay, there is one essay section, so where you write one essay and you have got 15 minutes to write that. So when you're looking at the screen, the SAT exam structure, so please look at the number of questions and the time limit for this, right? So in the writing, the grammar section, for example, the writing and language section, you have to do 44 questions in 35 minutes. So you have less than a minute per question. So the SAT prep is not just about knowing everything. It's not just about knowledge. It's not just about concepts. It's also about time management. And that's where we come in. We give lots of strategies and time management tips. And we also work on your stamina. It's a very long exam. If you add up all the time minutes here, right? It's actually a 3.5-hour exam. It's a very, very long, exhausting exam. So we work on all these things. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want a free demo class, so you can we can schedule that for you. Please leave your number in the chat window for that. So we will schedule the demo class, a detailed demo class for you, so that you can assess whether you find our strategies useful or not. So, and that is absolutely free. If you want to register for that, please type in your number in the chat window, but don't send it to everybody. Send it only to the panelists, right? Okay. The essay is scored separately on a scale of 2 to 8. So on your SAT score report, you will get one score that is out of 1600, which is the score of the math and the verbal section. Then you will get a separate score for the essay section. So you basically get 2 scores. Right. So as I said, I don't want to go into detail about the SAT exam per se. We have already conducted a session for SAT prep, and we will probably conduct again someday. But today I want to focus on the profile, importance of profile. What do you mean by academic grades, etc., etc. Okay. All right. As I mentioned earlier, your 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades play. I mean, that's what the universities are going to look at. 12th, if you will not have your final grades by the time you apply, obviously. So your predicted grades. Your school counselor in the online application system would be filling in your predicted grades. That means what they think you may end up scoring in your final exam, and your midterm grades. So all of those, so how you're progressing in class 12. Actually, that is what they're going to look at. Some of you, I remember, had entered in the poll that you have already done with class 12. So in your case, the class 12 marks, whatever marks you end up getting. So equal weightage is given to all these 4 scores. Some of you remember are in class 9th and 10th. So please remember, the parents and students, please remember that your class 11th grade should not be very bad as compared to your 10th grades. In India, students and parents and the schools, they pay a lot of attention, lot of pressure for the class 10th marks. So almost everyone gets very high scores in class 10th. But the class 11th grades are usually not that high. Sometimes they end up being very, very bad. Okay, so those of you who are in class 9th and 10th right now, please make sure that your class 11th grade, then the gap should not be too huge. The gap between your class 11th marks and 10th marks should not be that huge. If possible, try to get scores higher. If you score higher in your class 11 than class 10, that's really, really good. Some of you are in class 11, so if your exams haven't been conducted yet, maybe because of this COVID-19 situation, maybe your exams have been delayed. So that's good now. You can prepare for some extra time and make sure that you get higher grades, if possible, as high as your class 10th grades, right? Right. So now, in case your class 11th grade, let's say your class 11 is already over, and your grades are far lower than your class 10th grade. So what do? So you then make sure that your class 12 midterms you do well. Make sure that the predicted grades for class 12 are going to be high. Right? So and that is anyway going to be the more recent academic report that the universities will get. So if you have messed up your class 11 already, that's fine. Now focus on your class 12. Anyway, you can't change what has happened, right? So now focus on your class 12. Make sure that you do well in the midterms and make sure that your predicted grades are high. So grades are, universities they do pay attention to your school grades. Now, in a scenario where you have class 9th, you have already messed up. Class 10th also you don't have that high grades. Class 11th also grades are poor. Class 12 also now you feel that you are not going to get very high marks. So then try to compensate for that with a high SAT or ACT score, right? So good news is that universities look at a student's academic potential using these 2 things: your school grades and the SAT score. SAT, even if you don't get a good score in the first attempt, you can take it again. So that's the best part. School grades, you can't do that. If you don't get a high score in class 11, you cannot re-attempt it. So that option is not there. But for SAT, you have that. If you don't get a high score in the first attempt, you can always take it in the second attempt, and you can send the highest score to the university, right? Okay. So Rajan, I see some questions coming in the chat window. So please keep a note of those so that we can take them up during the Q&A session. Okay. And again, my request to all of you, while we are speaking, please don't type in questions in the chat window. We will open up for questions during the Q&A session. Alright. Now, how can you improve your academic profile? Improve or enhance? If currently you feel that your academics are not that high, then how can you improve? And if you feel that your current academics are great, then also no harm in enhancing. Ultimately, it's all about beating the competition. So whatever you can do to enhance your academic profile, you should be doing. So how can you do that? Take 2-3 AP courses. So AP stands for advanced placement, right? So you should be taking 2-3 AP courses. So AP exams are conducted in May. So if you are in class 10th right now, class 11th right now, so you can prepare for a couple of advanced placement courses and take them next May. And if you're already in class 4, then of course you don't have enough time to take the APs. Then take some courses offered on the online platforms such as Coursera, edX, but make sure that the courses are offered by top universities. So if you go to these platforms, these are MOOCs, right? So these are like online learning platforms where top universities offer courses. So top universities such as Harvard, Stanford, Yale, UPenn, all the top universities in the world, they offer courses on these platforms. So they are paid courses, around 3,000 to 4,000 rupees per course. So that's a fee. But if you can take, these courses and do well and score high, so that can kind of prove that yes, you are bright enough to cope with the curriculum of a top university also. So either, you can do both. You can take APs and take courses of top universities, online courses from top universities. But if you're, especially if you're a class 12 student now, that means you cannot take APs. The time is already over. So now you should, if you want to enhance your academic profile, then focus on taking online courses offered by top universities. The next part is extracurricular activities. Right? So extracurricular activities, the more diverse the activities, the better. Quality and depth more important than quantity. So sometimes students they wake up in class 12 and they realize they don't have enough extracurricular activities. So what they start doing is they just start doing 3-4 things at the same time. So that's not that significant as you may have only one thing. You may be good at probably only one thing. But if you have a history of it, if you have been doing it for the last 3-4 years, so that usually carries more weightage than starting 5 things in past year. Right? So that's the meaning of quality and depth. So we will talk a little bit more when we do profile analysis. Hopefully, we will be able to give you some of the tips that we give you to improve your extracurricular profile. So you may probably understand what I mean with this. Okay. So is my voice better now? So what I'm saying is that quality and depth of extracurricular activities is far more important than quantity of activities. So if you are doing like 10-15 things, and you are starting them only in class 12, so that's not as good as having 1 or 2 activities that you have been doing for the last 3-4 years. So it's not about what you have done more recently. It's more about what's the thing that you have been associated with for longer and how deeply, right?
Okay, is this better? My voice is echoing, you are saying. Is this better? Okay, it's better now?
Yes, Arjuma, better.
Okay, still now, how is it now?
Yeah, it is better.
Okay, all right, great. Okay. So as I was telling you, so extracurricular activities, it's not about how many you have. It's more about, how deeply you have been associated with it and for how long, 2 3 years, or is it just 1 year? All of that is, better. Okay. So okay, now is my volume fine? I think a couple of you are having problems hearing me. So if have you started have you kind of maximized your audio? Is it Rajan, panelist, is it better?
Yeah, it is.
Is it, am I loud enough?
Yeah, it is loud. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool, all right. Now hobbies also count as extracurricular activities, right? So don't think that hobbies don't. So your hobby may be maybe photography, or your hobby may be traveling, so those also count as extracurricular activities. So find ways to showcase your extracurricular activities to the admissions committee. So in the application, if you just write that these are my extracurricular activities or these are my hobbies, instead of that, if you can find ways to showcase, so that is far more useful. So you can do that with having YouTube channels, writing blogs. So whatever your hobbies and extracurricular activities are, find a way to present it to the admissions committee. You may be a, let's say, a star sports person, no so now how to present it to the admissions committee, right? So that's what you have to focus on. It's not about what you have, also it's more about now how to present it, how to make a case, how to the admissions committee, right? So in the application component, so you talk about your extracurricular activities, etc., in the application components, the essays and SOPs that you write, so that that you are going to talk about the your extracurricular activities, your profile, etc. here. The letters of recommendation, so let's say that you are a head boy or a head girl of your school. So in your school, the letters of recommendation that you are going to get from your school, maybe make sure that the teachers are writing that they're mentioning that you are that they you are, make sure that they're mentioning that, right? So 3 letters of recommendations are required, and one has to come from the school counselor. If your school counselor if your school does not have a school counselor, I know that there are schools in India where there are no counselors. In that case, the principal, right? So one letter of recommendation has to come from there. So your things like if you are on the school magazine committee, or if you are in some student committee, etc., etc., so that information should be included in this letter of recommendation, right? Okay. So so we'll take about 10-15 minutes of Q&A, and in the meantime we will do the lucky draw. So guys, if you have not already done so, please submit your phone numbers, type in your phone numbers and send to us. We will pick 2 of you with whom we will do a live profile assessment right now and give you profile enhancement tips. So please enter your phone numbers, send us your phone numbers on the chat. We'll do a lucky draw. So getting the lucky draw man arranged will take us around 10-15 minutes. So till that time we will we'll take some questions, we'll do some Q&A. All right, so let me go through some of the questions that I saw earlier. This is related to the SAT exam. Soumya wants to know, will the the SAT session. So SAT session should be organized again. Please keep an eye on our website. So our website has the schedule of the upcoming webinars. Devansh, your question is, if we have not scored quite well in class 9th, 11th, then what? So I think we already discussed that in the academic profile enhancement tips, that you take some APs, you take some courses offered by top universities online. So there's some things you can do. Aishik's question is, does grades matter to US universities? I think I've already covered these, but Manish, do you want to answer Aishik's question? His question is, do grades matter for US universities?
Grades will matter starting class 9. All grades starting class 9 are considered in the applications. Like since class 10 grades are the central exams, so they also have they are primarily taken into account. But again, class 9th in case class 9, class 10, class 11 grades, then you have class 12 term exams. At times, certain universities ask for your pre-board marks. So all the grades are taken into account. Plus, SAT scores also play a very vital role in that.
Okay, thanks, Manish. So, Madhav, will table tennis work as an extracurricular activity? So, yes, Madhav, that's a sport. So, obviously, it would. All right. So, there's okay, Manish, one more. What are the cons? What are the negatives of applying as an undecided major? Is there any negative of applying as undecided? What do you think,
Not really.
Manish?
There are no negatives onto the undecided. There are no negatives onto that actually. So basically, universities do know that at times students around 16, 17 years are not very clear on what they want to do. So they would like to initially explore the varied options offered by the university or the varied majors available. And accordingly, by their second year, they can decide what they want to do. At times, a lot of students pick up an initial major, and as and when they're studying, they decide no, they don't have. Let's say someone picks up computer science initially, and when he starts studying, then he feels no, maybe mechanical interest more, or maybe a pure science course like physics or chemistry will interest me much better. So that is how, like, there is always a flexibility of changing the courses. So
In
going
short,
undecided is never a
right. So in short, there is no negative, no downside to applying as undecided, right?
no, not at all.
All right. So a lot of you are asking questions about, is it important to upload activities on YouTube? It's not mandatory, but if you can, then that's good. Then there is somebody asking, can I add WSC debate competitions? Yes, you can. Somebody asking, what about this sports? How about that sports? All of that is kind of applicable. So Rajan, this question, you might want to take this question. Nimisha wants to know, if my target countries are Australia, UK, and Canada, so how will the SAT help me?
So Nimisha, if you're applying for countries which are apart from US like Canada, UK, Australia, so in these countries SAT is not mandatory to take, and your profile basically will be considered in terms of your academics. So your academics of in Canada, your academics like 9th, 10th, 11th, and half yearly or 12th would matter. But countries like UK and Australia, they will only look at your 10th scores and your 12th scores. So 9th and 11th is not considered important for countries like Australia and UK, but they are for Canada, and SAT is not required, is not a mandatory requirement for these three countries, like which is Australia, UK, and Canada for undergraduate.
Right, thanks, Rajan. Rajan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Arzumo.
Right. So somebody wants to know, Sahu wants to know, are the West Coast universities better than East Coast universities in computer science because of its proximity to Silicon Valley? Rajan?
So no, Sahu, as you know, you mentioned that which universities on West and East matter. So obviously, West side is always good because of the entire Silicon Valley is there in California. But when you approach the US universities, so I would suggest you to keep your option open in terms of states, because a lot of states like the top 3 states where maximum students get the H1 visas for computer science are your New York, California, and Texas. So your Texas is Midwest, New York is East Coast, and California is West Coast. So I would suggest you as a student, rather than sticking to one state, so you should be open to apply to various states and the universities in those states and see the maximum benefits of all those together, rather than putting your all eggs in one basket and applying only to California universities. But obviously the advantage of California is the Silicon Valley, which is there, and the location advantage is there. But no, you should keep your options open in terms of applying to some universities in East and some universities in West as a good application strategy.
Okay, Manish, you might want to take this, that what is a good IB score for getting scholarships?
IB is usually out of 45, so something around, let's say around a 42 should work fine.
Okay, all right.
That's, it is not just, there is no definition of a grade score. So ideally you should target at least a 40, 42 plus. And what are your HLs and what are your SLs will also make an impact. So what kind of courses have you picked up?
So I hope that answers your question, Jasmine. So Tanuj's question again, Manish, you might want to take this. For US, do we need to give IELTS?
See, both IELTS and TOEFL are accepted equally. So you can take either of the English proficiency exams.
Rajan, Amaya wants to know, do you also support for colleges that provide associate degrees?
A lot of students want to go for these associate degrees, which are mostly offered by the community colleges in the US, which are mostly 2-year degrees, and followed by which you transfer for the remaining 2 years for a bachelor's degree. So the visa chances of which we have seen in the past for Indian students especially, so the visa chances for these associate 2-year degrees are very low, because they don't see you as a legitimate student, and these associate degrees are more common for domestic students of the US, but not that much common for international students, because the visa acceptance rate is slightly lower in case of the associate degrees for Indian students.
Rajan, there is a question from GR, wants to know a bit more about AP exams.
So as as Orzuma also mentioned in her presentation, that the benefits of advanced placement, so which happens only 1 year, one time in a year, which is in May. So it always apart from getting waived off some college credits to your undergraduate. So these AP exams also showcase you as a very academically brilliant student, that they bring out the academic talent in you, and they see you as a more academic oriented student, and gives you extra bonus points in your application. So if you have the luxury to take these APs in coordination with your SAT, and you are able to concentrate more on your academics, so my always first preference is to take these AP exams, because they will add some extra benefits and extra stars to your application to the US universities.
So Madhav wants to know, what are the SAT scores required for scholarships? So as we already talked about the whole thing, that it's the entire profile that matters, right? But if you want to get scholarships, so to stand a fighting chance, I would say you should try to get at least 1300. So Manish, Rajan, do you think 1300 is the bare minimum they should be targeting?
That will depend on the kind of universities you're looking at. So if you're looking at the top Ivy Leagues or only the top 5, top 10 schools, then at least the score suggest would be 15, 16, 15, 70 plus, wherein there are a lot of mid-league schools or middle category schools which can give you a good scholarship with a score ranging from 1350 to 1450.
Okay, so bare minimum, absolute minimum score is 1300 is a fair thing, right? In some colleges, even if you get
a reasonable amount of scholarship.
Right. So even if you get 1600 or out of 1600, there is no guarantee that you will get scholarship at a Harvard, MIT, let's say. But the bare minimum is you should try to get a 1300. Okay, so Praveen has an interesting question. Should students take SAT subject test So if yes, then how many for a computer science major? So Manish, you want to take this?
Usually, as for the year 2021, a lot of most of the universities have as such waived off the SAT subject test requirement. Wherein, if you can really take it, then we would suggest you to take at least 2 subject tests. One would be Maths 2, and then the second can be Physics. Maths level 2 and Physics.
Maths level 2 and Physics, right?
And
Mhm.
if Chemistry also is a strong point, then you can take a third one as well, if you would like.
Rajan, you might want to take this. Ruchi Khanna as this question: do we need SAT for Southeast Asia colleges?
Ruchi, lot of universities in Asia, like, if you're applying for schools in Hong Kong, or Singapore, so a lot of these countries, if you are from the CBSE background, so a lot of these universities like National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technological University, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Chinese University of Hong Kong in Hong Kong. So these universities do not require the SAT for students if you are from your education is from the CBSE background. But if you are from some state board or non-CBSE, so a lot of these universities make it mandatory to take the SAT. But if you're from CBSE, so the SAT is not required by these universities in these Asian schools.
So Rajan, if somebody is a US citizen but studied in non-US, does the person still need to take the TOEFL, the language test?
No, again, no, if a student is a US passport holder, so a lot of universities would not ask for the TOEFL, because he'll be treated as a domestic student, irrespective of whether his education was in India. But again, it is always better to email the university, because some universities do not accept this. But most of the time he'll be considered as a domestic student, and it is suggested not to take it. But again, it is, since that all the 12 years are in India, so it is highly recommended that he should take the TOEFL or the IELTS, because the education is in India.
So I saw somebody asking that if the student is a US citizen, so if you have maybe you're born in the US and you have a US you are a US citizen, but if you have done the last 4 years of your schooling in India, the last 4 years, then it is done. To be on the safer side, we would recommend that you take the language test.
Yeah.
So Vamika's question is. Okay, so the SAT subject test, so if you are targeting the top universities in the US, then it helps if you have 2 SAT subject test scores, Maths level 2 and Physics. If you are going for science majors, if you are going for non-science major, like anything related to commerce or humanities, so then you can take either the maths one of the maths level 2 and probably a world history, US history, or English literature, one of them. But for science related programs, Maths level 2 and Physics. But if you think you are stronger in chemistry than in physics, then you can do a chemistry also. Okay, and there I saw a couple of questions. There seems to be a lot of misinformation about the US visa thingy. So somebody mentioned that US student visas are banned for 1 year. So that is not true. Currently green cards, so the US is not giving green cards for the next 60 days. That's all. Zero impact, no problem with student visas and H-1B work visas. Only green cards they are not issuing for the next 60 days. So if you are planning to go to the US after 60 days, it's anyway, even if you're planning to go to the US to study, like after 1 month also, no problem. There's zero impact on the student visa and the work permit thing. The thing is that only green card, they are putting a temporary hold for the next 60 days. So it's not true that the visas are banned for 1 year, etc., etc. A lot of these rumors going around, and they're just rumors. That's not facts. Okay. And there's one important thing I do want to take up, that a lot of the US universities, actually maybe about 5-10% of the US universities, they are saying that for the next intake, that is the fall 21 intake, they are saying that they will waive off the SAT requirement, right? So if they are going to waive off the SAT requirement, that means it's not going to be mandatory, but it is still highly recommended for international students. So if you are for their own students, for their domestic students, they know whether a school is good or not. They know whether the what the grades mean. But in India, there are so many different schools. There are so many different types of boards. So there is no one way to kind of equate students. There is no one single way to compare students. That is why the SAT scores are very important for Indian students. So even if a couple of, some of the universities are saying that they are making SAT non-mandatory, for the next session, but Indian students, so unless you are a US student studying in US, we would highly recommend that you take the SAT, right? Because that is the only standardized criteria. So our 1500 is going to be higher than 1300, right? So that's the only standardized criteria. But you cannot say that 70% is higher than 60%. You can't say. Maybe the 70% is from a state board, which is easier, and 60% is from ICSE board, right? So in India, we have got various types of schools and various types of boards. So it's difficult for US universities to directly compare Indian applicants. So we would strongly recommend that you focus on getting a high SAT score, right? Even though officially that particular university may have waived off the mandatory SAT requirement. So it's not mandatory anymore, but it is still recommended, right? Okay. So I think we have got the results of the lucky draw. So I'm going to give the first person that whose name has come up is Rima. So do we have a Rima? So okay, so yes, I see a Rima. So Rima, I'm going to give you mic access, and I think you are a parent.
Hello.
Yes, hi Rima.
Hi.
So
Hi.
hi.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Rima Pandey. So I want to discuss about my son profile. Actually, he is studying at Ryan International School, and he will promote to class 12 this year. So I know it's too late, but I am really concerned about his profile, and I'm not sure whether his profile is good or not. So can you help me on this?
Okay, so what is the name of your son?
Uh, Rehan.
Or Rehan. Okay. Anamika, Sharmista, one of you who would want to help Rima here? All right. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes. Hi, how are
Okay.
you?
I'm good. How are you? Are you all keeping safe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you just tell me a little bit about Rehan? Which stream has he chosen in grade 11?
Yes, he's chosen science stream, PCM.
PCM. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. And what are his hobbies or extracurricular activities maybe that he's involved in right now?
Yeah, football. He's playing playing football and playing guitar and
Okay.
Trinity grade certification also done.
Okay, so he's done Trinity grades as well for guitar, right?
Yes.
Okay, so which grade is he on?
Uh, Actually, a fourth.
Fourth grade. Okay, that's great. So, has he started a YouTube channel for guitar so far?
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like, okay, and one more question that I have before we start discussing the extracurriculars. Where would you place him in terms of his academics? Do you consider him to be an average student, an above average student, or like how would you rate him?
Average.
Average. Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay. So coming back to the extracurriculars now, has he started? He's not started his YouTube channel, so I believe this is the first thing that he should do right now. He should probably create a YouTube channel and start uploading his videos playing the guitar. Okay. And I think there should be consistency. You should maintain consistency in uploading videos. Maybe once in a week is fine, or twice in a month is also fine. So, but since he's already in grade 12 and he's not done much towards his extracurriculars, I think he should start uploading videos at least once a week now.
Okay.
So do you think that's achievable for him?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's great. That's something that will help him create a digital footprint also, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of football, so does he participate in school tournaments? Like what is the level of participation in football?
Yeah, he's almost every tournament participate in football tournament.
Okay. So I think in that case, what we can do is maybe we can get in touch with his sports teacher, his football teacher, and that football teacher can probably write him a recommendation letter which can be uploaded on his application later. Will that be possible?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's great. I think this is what we should do. I mean, for his extracurriculars, we should start with these two things, and later he should start attending online. Since we're under a lockdown right now, so I think now is the right time for him to start working on the online courses as well. You know, the online courses that are offered on Coursera and edX, all these websites.
Okay.
So, which major is he planning to pursue?
Actually, not clear about this, but probably inclined towards engineering. So yeah, he's good, really good in maths and physics.
Okay.
And interested in computer science. So think about engineering, and not good for chemistry. Not so much good for in chemistry.
Okay. So probably we can also help him with this psychometric test that will probably also give you an insight about his, inclination, which subject he's more inclined towards. Engineering, I think, yes, if he's good at mathematics and physics, then maybe, he can go for, if he can go for engineering physics. Then he's interested in computers also. So maybe computer science is a very feasible option for him. In fact, I think if he's good in computers and good in mathematics, so even data science can be a very good option for him.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think these three subjects, these three majors, I think he should do a little bit of research on: engineering, physics, computer science, and data science.
Okay.
And
so, yeah, tell me.
I'm sorry, I cut you. Please go ahead.
No, it's okay. When should he take the SAT?
Okay, so I believe that he should take the SAT in August. The next attempt for SAT is August. If he's not able to take the August attempt, then the September attempt. Okay. And so if he's not able to score very well in the first attempt, he can take another attempt in October. That will also be, possible for him. And in case if he's planning to go for computer science or data science or engineering, physics, any of the STEM majors, if he's able to perform well on his SAT, then he can also take subject tests, 2 subject tests like physics and math level 2 in November maybe.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think that should be the course of action for him. This should be the timeline, maybe August or September for the SAT first attempt, October SAT second attempt, and then he can take the 2 subject tests in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And since you mentioned that he's academically he's an average student, so I think we should focus more towards his extracurriculars, and we should try to make the best out of his essays. So the Common App essays have already been released for this year. So I think he should start working on his essays, and he should find ways to portray his extracurricular activities in the best way possible in his essays.
Okay, he will do that.
Yeah, he should really start working on his essays and the YouTube channel. These 2 things should be the priority right now.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, any other questions that are coming to your mind?
Not yet, ma'am, but I will connect with you for DCP package.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Sharmishta and Rima, ma'am. I hope you got some advice that you can start working on, and we have your number already. We'll be glad to like organize more one-on-one counseling session with your son and you. And you can also register for we conduct a psychometric test. That's the first step that we start with when we start counseling. A psychometric test to help the kid find out what kind of majors he should be applying for, or what is best fit for his profile, for his personality, for his aptitude, etc., etc. And based on then we kind of design the rest of the activities, etc. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Right. So next person whose name came up in our lucky draw is Mr. Abhishek. So it's Mr. Abhishek there? Yes. Okay. So Mr. Abhishek, I have given you mic access. So can you activate your mic? Are you able to?
Yeah, hi. Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
Mr. Abhishek.
Yeah, thank you for this, ma'am. So just want to update. Want to know. My daughter is in 10th class. Okay, so as per academics, she is above average student. I think she will opt commerce, but yet not fully decided. If I talk about a keen interest, her keen interest is in a field of related to painting, some design work, some designing work related to in computer as well. If I talk about the personality traits, she's a reserved kind of personality. So if I talk about that, that just want to know. So what's your suggestion for her, and how what is the roadmap for her? How can she got selected for a top universities of the world? So yeah.
Okay, so I think if I have to summarize, then Abhishek. So Abhishek, what's your daughter's name?
Nupur.
Nupur. All right. So Nupur, you were saying is a current. She's will be starting class 10, or she will be going to class 11.
No, so she's in 10th class. She's starting in 10th class.
Okay, she's starting 10th class. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
glad that you have started to think about this at this early, which is the first step already. So so you say that she is interested in you think so painting that side, and she's thinking of going something related to.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible. Hello.
Okay. So, Anamika, why don't you take this? Would just please help Mr. Abhishek and Nupur?
Surely, definitely. Mr. Abhishek, I hope you and your family is doing well. Just right off the bat, I would like to say, okay, first of all, am I audible?
Yeah, of course.
That's great. So my first suggestion would be that no matter what stream Nupur chooses, I would suggest that she keeps maths in 11th and 12th, because that will really keep her options open.
Mm-hmm.
And my second suggestion to her is that for now, of course, because it's 10th, she will need to focus a lot on her board exams. But along with that, she should start working on her profile building. As Ozma ma'am said, it's good to start as early as possible. And since we have so many years, 10th, 11th, and 12th, to work on Nupur's profile, it would be very, very nice if we can start as soon as possible, and we can start guiding Nupur customized to her interests. You mentioned that she's into artwork designing, but there's also a little bit of an inclination towards computers. So that is sort of ringing a bell towards graphic design. So maybe after her 10th boards, if she is if she's comfortable, what we can do is we can chalk down our resources, and we can find her an internship in graphic design nearby to where you guys reside. That will really give her an exposure to the market. It will help her gauge what really constitutes the graphic design industry, and it will really give her the kind of open mind exposure that she will need in order to excel at college.
Okay, sounds great. Okay. So, for if I talk about if she want to explore something more, so because if she's in 10th, I don't know how is this the keen interest will be continue in the class 10th or something else. So what about when she will start the preparation for SAT, and if I talk about profile, what she have to do to upgrade her profile to design a profile on to fit a profile for the top universities. So what is your recommendations
So,
for right now for she's in 10th?
okay, so for 10th, I would suggest that she can start looking into extracurricular activities that interest her, and she can start pursuing them. Amid this pandemic lockdown, of course, going out of the house is not an option, but online courses can definitely help her find her path towards what kind of profile she wants to build herself to. So these online courses are offered by accredited universities, and they really help the student figure out what they want to do. And these courses are also taught by university lecturers and professors. So the student gets the kind of environment that the student is sitting in a university classroom and attending a class, even though it's remote education. So at the moment, Nupur can focus on online courses. In addition to this, I would suggest that she can take up something that she can continue for her 10th, 11th, and 12th. As Ozma ma'am mentioned, quality is very, very important. Instead of doing 15 things in 12th, it's better to do 2 to 3 things that you can continue in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So community service can definitely be one of those things. And if she is very much into art, does she have any kind of artwork that she does for school competitions or anything?
Yeah, if I talk about competitions she did in school level, not on a zonal types. So only within school. That,
And sir, if I may ask, where do you guys reside?
so basically, we are from Dwarka in Delhi.
Okay, that's great. So what we can do in order to help Nupur and take, as you mentioned, that she does not have a lot of zonal level experience, but she has exposure to school level competitions, and she has some artworks ready. I would suggest that she can work a little bit more and increase the number of her artworks. And what we can do is that post her enrollment, we can use our Jamboree's resources and fix up some sort of an exhibition. In Delhi, we have a lot of our resources in place, and we can definitely contact art galleries or exhibition galleries that can help her showcase her talent and continue this further.
Okay, sounds great. So okay, so post this session, then we can connect. So we can we have a one-to-one session with your counselor? Then I think Nupur will also get some clear picture and some idea. So where she want to head in.
Definitely,
Okay, so
I'm sure that as you have your questions, Nupur will have her own kind of questions from a student's perspective. Right now,
yeah.
you as a parent, you have different kind of questions. She will have different kind of questions, and I would definitely love to address all of those so that everyone is on the same page at the end of the day.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anamika. I hope Mr. Abhishek and Rima ma'am, I hope you got some inputs that you can probably start working on with your children, and we can have probably a joint session with your kids. We already have your phone numbers. We'll probably schedule a joint session with your kid, you and our counselor, and then we can probably make a roadmap. Make a plan about how to now proceed in whatever time we have. Right. All right, so if the rest of you guys today, I mean, we have time for only 2 of those. So, but we'll be happy to do it with all of you, and your kids. So, or if your students are here, then with your parents also can be a part of the discussion. If you want to schedule a customized session, customized profile analysis and profile enhancement tips, then please leave your number. Also, those of you who are not very sure about, what to study, then we conduct a psychometric test to find out, what is best suited for you. So we would be glad to schedule one for you as well. So so in our Dream College program, so we have program that starts in class 12. So it's a comprehensive program. So if you are in class 12, then this program includes SAT, ACT coaching. We also prepare you for up to 3 SAT subject tests. Then we prepare you for the TOEFL exam, the IDC analysis, that is the psychometric test. So it is a part of our program anyway. Then we do profile enhancement, customized profile enhancement. It can be, as Anamika was recommending, Mr. Abhishek, that it can be some contacts with art galleries to organize an art exhibition for your child. Maybe if his or her hobby is painting, etc., etc. It can be arranging internships, like for Abhishek, Nupur, Mr. Abhishek's daughter. We work with an agency where we can help them get the internship on graphic designing programs, projects, etc., etc. So we work very closely with different sectors. Community service, we work with different NGOs as well. So but it has to be customized. It has to, your kid or you must also be interested in that. But so we do specific profile enhancement activities. We help organize also, not just recommendations. We put you in touch also. We conduct writing workshops. Then we help you with the university selection, depending on your budget, on your maybe location preference, whatever it is. Maybe you're looking for colleges that give scholarships, only for colleges that give scholarships, let's say. So we help you choose those. Then we help you with your essays. All of that we do. So this is what we do if you start the program with us in class 12, like Rima's son, so this is what we do. If you start the program when you are in class 11, then what we do is that we start working on your digital footprint. Digital footprint means, if you are there on the social media now, it helps to build a digital footprint. If you are saying that something is your hobby, and if you can prove a history of it. So, and the universities go through people's social media feed, and also if you want to seriously project yourself as a contender, then you have to focus on your digital footprint also. So this is what we do if you start in class 11. In class 11, we'll prepare you for the exam. We'll give you guidelines to prepare for the AP exams. Which exam should you be taking? What are the resources that you should be using? There are something called summer programs. If you want to go to a foreign country like UK or US or Australia, anywhere, to attend 1, 2, 3 to 6 weeks of courses in a university there. So we help you with the applications, those summer program applications. So this is something that we cannot do for class 12 kids because there's no time, but for people starting in class 11 and class 10. So we work in far more detailed manner to not just help you with the exams, but also to help you with the summer school applications, the AP guidance, etc., etc. Right? So this is a detailed program that we have. If you are interested in more information about this, please leave your number. We will get in touch with you and see what best we can do for you. Right? So so Anu Varshini wants to know that you are already enrolled for Jamboree SAT coaching. So SAT coaching is a part of the program. It's not the entire program, if you see. So if you want to now upgrade to this program, you can do so. This is a more detailed program. So if you want to upgrade to this program, you just have to let us know. We'll have a word with you and we'll help you upgrade to this program. Right? So Aishik has been asking that so Anamika has studied undergrad in UC Davis, right? So you wanted a clarification. So she has pursued undergrad. So Sugandha, you want to know how to start building a strong profile? So Sugandha, that is a very broad question. We will be more than happy to answer you, right? But we would need to know more about you. So for that, I would recommend that you drop your number so that our team. So today I just have four of our people on the panel. We have a far bigger team. We have counselors based out of different places. So one of the our counselors will be glad to have a in customized session with you and help you out. So Sugandha, I see that you have already dropped your number, so we'll definitely call you. Okay, so Sahu has a very specific question. Rajan, you might want to address this. His question is, are there any other majors other than computer science for job opportunity in the US? So obviously there are a lot, but Rajan, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so there are a lot of majors, in terms of computer sciences there. Then you have, data science, business, economics. You want to excel in engineering like mechanical engineering, automobile engineering, electrical engineering, some upcoming fields like international relations. If you want to do a job later on, maybe in WHO or UNESCO. So a lot of these upcoming majors, are there for students who are right now in demand. Lot in case of liberal arts, if you want to do a history major, you want to become a historian, or you want to do a bachelor in geography or a chemistry, and work later on in the field of chemical engineering, so plastic engineering. So a lot of these good upcoming majors are there which can give you a good job in the US.
All right, so Deepti Shankar has this question that will admissions be affected due to COVID-19? Okay, so admissions, actually, yes, we are expecting the admissions to be impacted. The universities, like for example, for the fall, the session starting in August, September. So probably the number of international students would go down. So they will be in dire need of funds. So we are expecting that the number of international students that they will take in these sessions, fall 21 or fall 22, the number of international students they will take in, we are expecting that number to go up, because the universities will be in a financial crunch because of in the current scenario. So in the fall 21, fall 22, we expect the number of international students intake to go up in most universities. Okay, any other queries? So we are we have so on the screen you will see that you'll see a link also in case you want this is a Zoom call with a counselor. And moreover, those of you who have not started your SAT preparation yet, we will be glad to give you a customized demo. So you will get to interact with the faculty, and the faculty will give you a demo of the SAT classes. So if you want to register for an SAT demo, please leave your number. We'll schedule the SAT demo for you in the next 2-3 days. So you will get an idea about what this SAT exam is about, what you need to study, at what level you are, what level of preparation you are at currently. So you'll be able to get an assessment, a fair assessment of that. So please leave your number for that. And anybody who is confused about what to pursue as a bachelor's degree, also the psychometric test is if we can conduct the psychometric test for you. It's a verified, the test is used by Delhi government also. It's a very verified and a foolproof test. Actually, a lot of our students have gone on to pursue whatever the test predicted. So if you want to register for a psychometric test also as the first step, feel free to leave your number. We will arrange that for you. Right. So if you have got all the information that you need, then feel free to log out. If not, we are around for the next another 10-15 minutes to address your queries. And Jamboree students, if you want to upgrade, if you are maybe a SAT coaching student right now, if you want to upgrade to the comprehensive package, comprehensive dream college package, also please leave your number. We will have somebody speak to you and upgrade you. So Ishan, I'm not able to actually find your question in the chat. So if you can re-enter your question, we'll be glad to answer it. Manish, in the meantime, can you address Khushi's question? She wants to know what are the admissions criteria for Stanford and Harvard, or what do universities such as Stanford, Harvard look for in a student?
Hi, Khushi.
Khushi, are you there?
Khushi, are you there?
Yeah. Just say.
So Khushi, so
What
these
top
universities,
universities look for in students.
yeah. Yeah, Khushi, all the top schools profile, holistic profile, which would cover, first of all, your academics from school, your SAT scores, your TOEFL scores, your extracurriculars, what is the depth of your extracurriculars. So all these things will be taken into account, right? So it is not just one component which will just help you out. So it is going to be everything. So first of all, your school academics starting class 9, your class 10 board result, your how's been your performance in class 11, plus your class 12th results, and how's been your extracurriculars, what kind of a SAT score do you have. Let's say, do you have a 1500, or let's say 1520 or a 1560, and have you taken the subject test, or what are your subject test scores, and what are your TOEFL scores. So everything would be taken into account while a university assesses your application. Plus they will also look into account whether you're looking for a financial aid or you're not looking at a financial aid. So each and every factor in the application is taken into account while assessing an application.
So any other queries? So those of you who have left their numbers, we will be anyway we'll be speaking to you and addressing your queries, more detailed queries. But anybody else has any other queries right now? Okay, Vishrut, Vishrut's question is, the common application requires 3 letters of recommendation that are written by teachers and counselors in your school. What if I want to add other letters of recommendation from organizations that I have worked with? Can I do so in the common application to enhance my profile? So Sharmishta, you want to address this?
Yes, ma'am, sure. So on your Common App, there are 2 sections in the recommendation section. One section is for the teachers and the counselors of your school. Another section is for the other recommenders. So in case if you've done an internship, or in case if you participated in some sports activity, you want to take an LOR from the sports teacher, the coach of your school, in that case, you have to enter those LORs in the other recommendation section.
All right. Okay, so Rajan, you want to take this? Sahu has another question. Regarding US university ranking, is there a reliable website that you can go for? Yes, Rajan? Okay, Rajan, I'm not able to hear Rajan. So maybe Anamika, you want to take this?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So in terms of USA university ranking, it would be nice if we can look at the US News Premium rankings. Other than that, I do think that in some cases ranking can be a little biased, which is why ranking should not be the only factor which is used in selecting the universities that a student wants to apply to. But otherwise, yes, US News should be a reliable source, as reliable as they get.
Okay. So Ishan, you were asking us to address your query. So please type out your query. We'll be happy to address it. Manish, Anu's question is, what are the requirements for applying to National University of Singapore?
So Anu, which board are you studying? For the CBSE board, for NUS and NTU, SAT is not mandatory, right? Wherein in case you are studying in any other board, let's say the state board or IB board or other board, so then SAT and subject tests are at times required. So which board are you in? Can you please reply, Anu?
He has written CBSE.
CBSE. So Anu, the admissions in Singapore primarily based on academics. They will initially take into account your class 10th and class 11th grades. For the past 2 years, NUS has started asking for 11th grades as well. So once you submit the application, you need to upload your mark sheets, and later on, what is considered a good. So based on your class 12th results, so around June or July, you will get your admission on that way.
So Manish, can you also probably talk a little bit about what the students should be scoring in class 10, 12, etc. for to stand a good chance?
So in the past 2-3 years, students with 96+% in class 12 have usually been able to secure an admission in either NTU or NUS. And similar way around in 10th also around the 95-90% plus. So that is the counter competition we are looking at.
Just to also add, to what Manish was saying, also, since NUS and NTU are competitive universities, because they are like an SRCC of India, so like a 97-98% also you're not sure. But again, you can also look at, obviously Singapore Management University is only a people who are applying for business. So if you can get a good SAT score like a 1300 to 1400 and you have a decent academics, so for people who are looking for business or management, they can still keep SMU as an option and still get admitted to SMU also as an option. So that is also better for people who are not applying for engineering. So SMU can be a good bet for those also in Singapore.
Okay. So while I'm going through the questions in the chat window, somebody asked, whether it is mandatory to write the essay in the SAT exam. So yes, it is optional, but quite a few universities ask for the essay score. So my recommendation is that you should write the essay. Don't consider it as optional. A lot of the universities that you are applying to may ask you for the essay score. So write the essay as well. And I also see somebody asking that while taking, please note, if you are taking the online courses on edX or Coursera, please go for the paid version. Get the certificate. Unless you have done the certificate, then there is no proof that you have done that course, right? So please go for the certificate version. So Rajan, do you want to address any other question? Anything you want to add?
No, I just wanted to add for people especially who are in class 12th right now. Just as a FYI, that the Common App has stated that the essays will not change this year also. So they should now they can also refer to the Common App essay prompts and start working on those essays to get an early advantage now. And this is the best, since they are at their homes. So this is the best time to start with the essays and build on their profile, so that when the schools open, they'll be rushing with the curriculum and they will not have all that luxury to answer those essays. So now, since they are at home, work on these essays and have it at early advantage and have all those things ready by the time the deadlines approach in November, and they can just they can just route their applications to the universities. So that would be my suggestion to the students who are in class 12th currently.
Rajan, in the initial, when we did the poll, so I noticed that there were some students who have completed their class 12th. So are there any universities available that they can apply even now for the fall 2020 session, even if they have not taken the SAT yet? Can they take a shot at any university?
Yeah, there are a lot of good universities right now also remaining whose deadlines are till end of May or mid of May. Hello, just to name some few good universities like Arizona State University, University of Illinois Chicago, Northeastern University, a lot of CSUs, California State Universities are open. So there are a lot of good universities also which are in top 100 in US who are still open for the fall 20 intake. So anyone who's interested in the fall 20 intake, so they can leave their number privately in the chat box, and I can have them called immediately and give them those options for fall 20, because fall 20 is still an option, and there are a lot of universities still open for the fall 20 intake also for the US and other countries also. US is open, some universities in Canada is open, Ireland is open, UK is open, Australia and New Zealand are also open. So a lot of schools options are there to apply for.
Right. So basically, those of you who have completed your class 12 and not probably prepared for SAT yet, or not taken the SAT yet, universities have, a lot of universities have, like, delayed their deadlines or deferred their deadlines. So the good news is that you have now time to apply to some university options, without the SAT score also for the fall 2020 session. That means the session starting in September. So if you want more information about those universities, please drop your number in the chat window. We'll call. Right. Okay, so Ishan, your question finally, I see that SAT subject tests are not scheduled before November. Okay, that's not true. SAT subject test, if you go to the College Board's recent announcement, so they are planning to have SAT and SAT subject tests available in August, in September and in October also. So if you can actually take in the August. So Ishan, you can take SAT subject test in August. August 29th is the date. So I hope that helps. And as I was saying, if anybody wants to still wants to apply for the session, for the fall 2020 session, you can do that. So if you want more information about that, please leave your number in the chat window, and we'll give you the information. We'll actually call you up on priority so that you can meet the application, right?
So guys, there is some private chats going on in the chat box. So I would appreciate to maintain the decorum of the PPT, if you can just avoid doing some private chats among you all.
All right, so I think we are at the end of the session. Thank you also, panelists. Thanks a lot, Anamika, Manish, Rajan, Sharmista. Thanks for patiently addressing everybody's queries. And the attendees, I hope you got some valuable information. We'll be glad to do more customized sessions for you. I am online for the next couple of sessions, next couple of minutes. So please leave your numbers in the chat window so that we can we'll get back to you. All right. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks panelists.
Thank you everyone for a wonderful session. Thank you. Stay safe.